Now, soon after taking charge as Kenya's fifth head of state in September 2022, President William Ruto publicly declared an end to abductions in the country. However, following populist anti-finance bill protests in at least 35 counties in the country, several Kenyan youth have and continue to be abducted and held incommunicado, a complete opposite of the president's promise to the country. Which begs the question, is the nation back to the dark, painful task?
For the past few days, there has been hue and cry, particularly in the capital, Nairobi, of abduction of several youth perceived to be either organizers of anti-finance bill protests or those with big influence on social media. On Monday night, Gabriel Oguda, columnist on Saturday Nation, and a parliamentary staff in the office of National Assembly Minority Leader James Opiyo Wandayi, was abducted at 2:30 a.m. while in his house.
Mr. Gabriel Oguda called me at 2:20 a.m. this morning, informing me that there are people at his gate who were breaking into his compound. No sooner had he called me, Honourable Speaker, I mobilized lawyers to try and attend to his situation. 10 minutes after Mr. Oguda called me, my phone calls were jammed. I was unable to call nor to receive calls until about 6:30 this morning. Honorable Speaker, in the ensuing period, these persons actually broke the gate of Honorable Oguda's compound, went further to break his door, and abducted him. Up to this moment I'm speaking here, we do not know the whereabouts of Mr. Oguda, who is an officer in the office of the leader of the minority party, an officer who is supposed to make our work possible. Happening on the eve of this very special day, Honorable Speaker, we don't take it lightly.
Several other youth were also picked over the weekend and during the week as well. But perhaps most shocking was the incident of Leslie Muturi, son of Attorney General J.B. Muturi, on Saturday evening on Malim Juma Road in Kilimani, as a helpless Embakasi West Member of Parliament Mark Mwenje watched.
My friend Leslie Muturi, son to Justin Muturi AG, has just been hijacked by the police here on the road. I was the one following him. This is his car. Take the video. These are my friends who are right here. And the police who have taken him, we are here and we are going to find you guys. Release him right now. We've informed everybody in this Nairobi.
On Wednesday, President William Ruto, while addressing the nation, denied abduction reports only for his deputy Rigathi Gachagua to address the nation few minutes later and call out the security agencies.
What you said about abduction are statements that were attributed to some of our civil society groups, but all the people they mentioned have since been found in police custody, and those that were already processed were already released.
The President and I gave a categorical promise to the people of Kenya that the issue of abductions and extrajudicial killings will never happen again. Sadly, this is back. It is unbelievable that the son of the Honorable Attorney General of Kenya, Justin Bidan Muturi, was abducted at night in a commando style by officers of the National Intelligence Service and held incommunicado for 18 hours. Yet, that is the Honorable Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. What will happen to other Kenyans?
Few hours later, Kenya School of Law President Joshua Okeyo sent a distress message to his close friends before his phone was switched off. Around the same time, University of Nairobi student leader Peter Nyamweya Oginga was also picked up. Those abducted have been vocal on anti-finance bill, which calls for Occupy Parliament and State House, to the point that state bureaucrats, believing they were among organizers or coordinators of the civil unrest, championed by the Gen Zs and millennials.
I have publicly stated that under this administration, Kenyans are free to criticize the government without fear of reprisal and state agencies. This was a promise made by both the President and I when we were sworn in. I want to call upon overzealous heads of security agencies not to be tempted to use the criminal justice system to manage politics. Let us manage politics the conventional way.
Law Society of Kenya places the number of those abducted in the past few days to over 50, more than 3 times the total abductions or enforced disappearances in all of 2023.
As a nation, it's time to rethink, reset, and try to work a different way forward.
President Ruto says there have been no enforced disappearances in his time as president, before making a U-turn and stated that all abducted individuals had been released. At the time of his address, popular artist Casmuel Makoure was still in custody as LSK and other civil society groups sought his whereabouts. In the case of political activist and Saturday Nation satirist Gabriel Oguda, LSK and his family were forced to run after vehicles that were moving him across different towns. Oguda of the "We shall be there no matter what" and "They will not believe" fame, among other phrases, was eventually released after being traced in Kajiado. One conspicuous occurrence has been the police in plainclothes pouncing on protesters and forcibly bundling them in police vehicles, whereas ordinarily all police officers are supposed to be in uniform with force number when making arrests, and victims are supposed to be taken to a disclosed or identified police station.
Police should be able to be properly dressed and can be identified, so that people are aware that these are police officers. But to see police dressed as if they are part of the thugs, yet they are fully armed, it brings a lot of fear to the general public. And also the question of how can you hold accountable someone that you cannot identify.
On Thursday, some protesters had their clothes torn and at some point dragged on tarmac semi-naked, raising difficult questions on human dignity. Some of those arrested were even bundled into civilian lorries in full glare of cameras. On Tuesday, Police Reform's working group had documented at least 22 abductions, 50 arrests, 300 injuries and 23 deaths, all in the hands of the police. The protests, attended by hundreds of thousands of Kenyan youth, the Gen Zs, have since forced President William Ruto to make an unprecedented move of deploying Kenya Defence Forces to assist quell the open dissent and defiance. But even as President Ruto ponders on the cards on his table, the mass abductions of young Kenyans have revived horrific memories from regimes gone by, when state officials kidnapped and killed dissenters willy-nilly. Duncan Haemba for NTV.
And it's a matter the president was asked today in the media roundtable. Let's listen to what William Ruto